Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Jess and I usually film teacher kind of related content, teaching in Canada, being a student teacher, all of that. But today I'm gonna film a book haul. So I've got my iced coffee here. The camera right now is on the bookshelf, so you have to reach behind the camera to get everything. But I got really into reading maybe over the last summer. And from there, it's just spiraled and I've become absolutely obsessed and addicted. So yeah, book collecting is a full-time hobby for me now. The rate that I collect books is definitely not the same rate that I read books at, but I think a lot of people can relate to that. So let's just get into the haul. Oh, this haul is also books that I've collected throughout April, which is my birthday month, so I'm just gonna label this as a birthday month haul. I think I'm gonna go in maybe like rainbow order. That's just how I have the books laid out on my shelves. Most of the books that I have are thrifted. I do probably thrift like 95% of my books. Any books I get full price are usually as gifts or for like a special occasion, something like that. But yeah, the majority of them are thrifted, so I'll tell you where each one is from. But let's see. So for like the black and the red books, I first picked up Night Circus. This one I've been looking for a really long time. I remember I used to work at a thrift store, and one time someone found it at the thrift store that I worked at and they bought it, came through my till, and I was like, oh, I really wanted this one. But I finally found it, and it is in hard copy as well, which is cool. But it is kind of like shifted, like bent a little at the spine, so if anyone knows how to fix that, let me know. But yeah, it's a really cool hardcover. Like that's the front there, and yeah, I'm excited to read this book. It's more of like an atmospheric book following a magical circus, I believe. So I've heard there's not like that much plot to it, that much romance to it, not much except for the atmosphere, so we'll see how that goes. The next book I've also been looking for a long time. I was so close to buying it full price because I wanted it so bad, but I eventually found it. It's Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas, who also wrote The Hate You Give, which I read last summer, and this is the prequel to The Hate You Give, and it follows Maverick, who is the dad in The Hate You Give, and just kind of more about his story, what his upbringing was like. So I'm really excited to read this, and it literally feels brand new. Like there's a lot of resistance like when you try to open the book, which I feel like it literally like hasn't been read. Like the dust jacket's in such good condition, and yeah, I'm really excited to have found this and to be able to read it this summer. Next, I collect books by the author Kit Pearson because she wrote Awake and Dreaming, which was my favorite book growing up. So I bought that book to read it again because now as an adult I don't really remember what it was like. So I wanted to buy Awake and Dreaming, which I ordered from an online thrift store, and that came in. I haven't read it yet, but it spiraled me wanting to buy all of her books. So I found this one. It's called The Daring Game, and she's a Canadian author, so a lot of her books are set in Canada too, which is pretty cool. So this one I think is set in Vancouver, and it's a little bit of a mystery, kind of like a family mystery going on. So yeah, I'm excited about that one. Again, found it at the thrift store, so yeah, there's that one. Next, since I am in Teachers College, and well, technically I just finished Teachers College, so since I'm going to be a teacher, I started collecting books for my classroom and for future read-alouds or just for my future classes in general. So I found this one, The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris, which is pretty cool. He's an actor, for maybe those of you that don't know. There's a refresher. But yeah, this is like maybe a middle grade novel, and there's also some pictures mixed in there as well. So I thought this was pretty cool. And yeah, it looks like a great book. And this next book, Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Again, a pretty famous author, pretty famous book. This was found at the thrift store, and I saw this sticker on the front saying signed copy. So usually I don't know if I would have picked up a John Green book, but because it was signed, I had to. It was like $4. So there's the signature, and yeah, I will hopefully read it at some point. Next, so when I first got into reading, obviously I made a Goodreads account and started just kind of seeing what was popular on Goodreads, adding it to my, I think it's called like a wish list or want to read on Goodreads, something like that. And I added this book, The Reading List, and I think it's about like a girl and her grandfather find a list of books or something, and get into that. Let's see. An unforgettable and heartwarming debut about a chance encounter in a list of library books that forges unexpected connections between readers. A love letter to some of our most cherished novels. So I found this one at a thrift store as well for $2. So I don't know if this is like that high on my TBR, but I'll try to get to it at some point. Next, also at the thrift store, I found The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I think this series is going to be totally up my alley. If there's a movie that I like, it's movies where someone dies at the end. So I don't think that's a spoiler. I think that is kind of, if you know the series, you just, you know. But yeah, I am excited to read this. I think it's going to be a perfect summer read, obviously, and yeah, if it goes well, I'll try to pick up. Next up, we have another middle grade or even like a young reader novel, James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. I'm also trying to collect a lot of his books, so I don't know if I have any other ones here, but this is probably the third or fourth one of his that I've picked up. This was one of my favorite movies growing up, so I'm excited to have this book and maybe bring it into a future classroom or just for my future kids, you know. But yeah, this was $1.59 at Value Village, so their kids books are next. One of the booktubers I watch is Emmy. I believe that's her name. I think that's her channel name as well. But she posted a video about, I think, her favorite books of 2021 or favorite books of all time even. And the Cloud Atlas was on there. And so probably like 2 days after I watched that video, I found it at the thrift store. So I was like, okay, I've got to get it. The cover is super pretty. And yeah, I think it's more of a contemporary timeline kind of novel, so we'll see how that goes. I don't think this is one that I would have picked out on my own, but I love Emmy's channel and she talks about some really great books, so I'm excited to see more about this one. Next, this is I was gonna say classic, but I'm just gonna say really popular thriller novel or suspense kind of novel, but Lucy Foley, The Guest List. Again, I found this at the thrift store and had to pick it up. Yeah, I've been wanting to check out her books for a while. I think she has this one, The Hunting Party, and then The Paris Apartment. The Paris Apartment I haven't heard that good things about, but heard pretty good things about this one, so I'm excited to get into it. I don't think I've read any thriller novels yet, but I think I would like it. Well, I've read Verity, which I guess is a thriller novel. So yeah, I'm excited to expand my thriller experience. The camera angle changes. Again, the camera's right in front of the book, so oops. But the next book is another Roald Dahl book. I do have a second one here that I found at the thrift store as well for $1.79 from Talese. And it is the BFG, which stands for The Big Friendly Giant. With my second to last student teaching placement, we were doing The Witches, which is a Roald Dahl book. So that was fun to read aloud. So these are kind of like an homage to my like student teaching experience and doing class read aloud. So yeah, Roald Dahl books are super fun. Again, they have kind of pictures scattered throughout, and Roald Dahl books come in like a whole bunch of different styles as well. So I'm kind of trying to collect one from each of the style of prints. So there's this one. I think this is pictures from like the movie adaptation. Next, I have the Gilded Wolves, which is another purchase that was definitely influenced by a booktuber. She is the Book Leo, I believe, on YouTube, so I will link her or put her channel name somewhere. Again, she makes great book content and she raves about the series all the time, so I thought I would try it out. I think it's kind of like Six of Crows vibes, I think. But what really sold me is that there are puzzles within the book that like the characters encounter, and they're printed in the book so you can kind of do them as well while you're reading it. So I thought that was super cool. I definitely love puzzles, so I'm really intrigued by that. There's another one there. another one there. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this book. I've briefly kind of gotten into like the fantasy, sci-fi, what else do you call that? Yeah, let's just leave it at fantasy. I've briefly gotten into fantasy, so I think this will be another great introduction to the fantasy world. And this was one of the, I think, 3 or 4 books I'm going to show today that I did purchase full price. This was on my birthday, like purchased with birthday money, so I just had to pick this up for full price because I'm really excited to get to it. Next, this is another thrift find. It is 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl by Mona Awad. Another one of my favorite booktuber channels is Katie Colson, and she's absolutely obsessed with Bunny by Mona Awad. I don't know if she liked this one as much as Bunny, but I have Bunny as well, so I figured I found this one. It's a pretty short read, and I'm going to check it out, see how it goes. The Goodread reviews aren't that high, but I think I saw it once at the thrift store, and I was like, maybe if I see it again, I'll pick it up, and then I saw it again, so I was like, I guess I have to now. All right, moving along, I have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. Read Normal People by Sally Rooney. Wasn't obsessed with it. I think I gave it maybe like a 3-star review. But I saw this one, and I think there is like a queer romance to it, which hopefully makes it a little more exciting. But again, it's not that long of a book, so I'm gonna try to get into it, but this is her last chance, I think, with me. Next, I have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I did pay full price for this one again. I think it was on sale though for like $12 or $14 or something at Chapters or Indigo. And yeah, this was another birthday buy. I think I've read 3 of Colleen Hoover's books before, and this one obviously is raved about just as much as her other one, so I'm excited to get into it. And I can always read her books in like 1 to 2 days, which yeah, just speaks for itself in terms of like how good her books are and how much I love them. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to read this in the future, as much as I could say about it. So again, I'm kind of trying to get more into fantasy, and I found this book at the thrift store, Generation 1 by Pittacus Lore, and I guess he also wrote the I'm Number 4 series, which I see all the time at the thrift store. Never really interested me, but this one kind of sounds like The 100, if you know that TV show where there's people like living on a different planet and then other people try to invade that planet kind of concept. But what really sold me was the pages, or the edges of the book. It says Legacies Reborn on the edges, which I thought was super cool. So I'm gonna try it out. It had good reviews on Goodreads. I think it was like a 4 point something. So I'm excited about that. That's what like a page looks like with the kind of, I guess there's some kind of spray edges, maybe like printed edges you could call it. So hopefully that's not like too distracting as I'm reading, but yeah, I'm excited to check this book out, get into it. It's a little bit of a bigger book. It's probably like 404 pages, which pretty long for me. I usually stick around like the 300 range. So yeah, but I'm excited to get into this and see how it goes. This is another book that I was looking for a while, but it's Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Again in hardcover and also from the thrift store, so pretty good find there. Yeah, this book is just gorgeous, and I've also been seeing a lot of at like Chapters in Indigo, they have journals that you can follow along in as you're reading this book. So yeah, I think it's a bit of like a memoir, autobiography kind of thing about the author's experience of realizing they were queer later in life. So I think that'll be a fun read. I haven't read too many like autobiographies, so again, kind of expanding the reading palette here. And yeah, it had good reviews, so I'm excited to check it out. This next book, probably my favorite find, my most exciting find of this past month. I have been so close to buying this book full price. I'm so excited to read it. Not too sure why. It's kind of different from other books that I would generally go for, but it is The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I was like genuinely shocked when I found this at the thrift store. I grabbed it so fast that people around me were probably concerned. But yeah, it gives me a major, what is that one series? A Series of Unfortunate Events vibes. Yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. A magical island, a dangerous task, a burning secret. So I think it's about an orphanage and the kids can do magic is basically what I know about it. But I'm really excited to get into it. I think it is another stunning cover. And I think in general, TJ Klune might be an author that I enjoy. So we'll see how this goes and if I pick up more of his books after. Next is another classroom purchase, but it is a graphic novel drama by Raina Telgemeier. Maybe I probably butchered that last name, so if you know how to say it, just let me know. But yeah, I think I found this for like $2 maybe at the thrift store, and it is a full color copy, so I'm really excited about that. It's in pretty good condition. And yeah, I've heard from a few other like teachers on like Facebook Reels or something, or on TikTok, that their classes were really enjoying this book, so thought I would pick it up. And if The House in the Cerulean Sea was my #1 favorite find this month, this is definitely my favorite too. Maybe even battling for #1. I had never heard of this book until I saw it at the thrift store, but it is Apoka or Apaka, I'm not too sure how to say it, The Tree of Enderby, and it's created by Kobe Bryant and written by Ivy Clare. And I saw this book, this is the spine of it, and I was like, oh, that is a pretty book. Let me pick that up and look at it. And I don't think you guys are ready to see what the pages look like. The pages are this gorgeous, like a watercolor almost print. Stunning. But yeah, the pages are seriously so pretty. I have never seen another book with colorful pages like this. And the drawings that are in here are just gorgeous. I think they're at maybe the beginning of like each chapter or something. But just look how cool that is. Where's another one? Yeah, like this is literally the most gorgeous book I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, I just had to pick it up. I think this could be a great class read aloud. It is a middle grade book about a fantasy sports school, so I just think that sounds so cool. Next, I found My Dark Vanessa at the thrift store. I think I'm going to lean away from more just like sad and like serious toned books. I think I've way more enjoyed reading like fun fantasy lighthearted books. I think I'll definitely check this out though because it still has good reviews. I obviously own it, so there's that. But yeah, I think it's about a student who experiences a form of sexual assault and is like navigating that with her within the academic world, I think. Like a teacher perspective, something along those lines. But yeah, that is My Dark Vanessa. Again, found it at the thrift store. Next, I hadn't heard of this book, but it just looked really pretty, and I'm trying to kind of buy a few more books that aren't just like super hyped up on like Book Talk and BookTube, and go in a bit more blindly, just reading off like what the description of the book is and kind of being able to form my own opinion. So I want to try doing that a bit more. So this book is called Seven, and the author's name is Farzana Doctor, I think. Yeah, must be. And I think it's about a woman and her husband. They try to go on a marriage-saving trip to India, but then realize some family secrets. But I just thought it was a super pretty book. Again, I'm trying to diversify the types of books that I read, the type of authors that I read as well, so that is a good book to add to my collection. Next, this was another one where I didn't know much about it, hadn't heard of it at all before I saw it at the thrift store, but it is called Serious Men by Manu. My memory card got full there, so I had to erase some clips really quick, but yeah, this is the book Serious Men, and it is described as lively and full of unforgettable characters, Serious Men is a sparklingly original debut novel about the mishaps and adventures of a man who will be remembered as one of the great anti-heroes of literature. So I just thought the cover was really pretty. The concept sounds pretty fun. Next, I found American Dirt at the thrift store. This is, again, a pretty popular novel, so you guys have probably heard of it. You might already know what it's about. But I think it's about a woman and her son and kind of navigating the Mexico-US border, I believe. Next, I found the Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. This seems like a super cute and fun romance book. Again, it's pretty popular, pretty well reviewed, well loved, so I was excited to find this at the thrift store, and I'm excited to get into it. I think romance books are always a go-to for me. They're just fun, and yeah. Next, this was another brand new full price purchase for my birthday, and it is 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. I think Wiest. But yeah, this is still in the plastic wrap. I've never seen a book that was plastic wrapped before at the bookstore, but yeah, I've seen a couple of my like personal friends and people online recommend this book and give it pretty good reviews, so I'm excited to get into it. I think this could be cool just to like read a couple of the essays, put it down, pick it up when I want to read another one, so I don't have to consume it all in one go. But yeah, I'm excited to have this, again, kind of growing my nonfiction collection. Next, I ordered this one online, and maybe I just didn't read the description well enough to know what I was actually buying. But it is the Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, which is a super short contemporary novel. I think it's about a woman going through postpartum depression, I believe, or just a woman going through mental health problems. But this copy is literally like a pamphlet. I knew it was a short book, but I really wasn't expecting this to come in the mail when I ordered it. But yeah, I don't know if this is the full version or if this is just like a short version of it or something, but it's a mint editions of it, I guess, and it's literally like 15 pages, so don't exactly know what's going on here, but I have this now. Next, I have a horror novel, which don't think I have any of those in my collection at all, and it's the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slang Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Again, hard copy, again, thrifted, so gorgeous. And the hardcover itself is this great like mint green color, and this is, I'm assuming, related to the book. This is like how it's printed. This isn't what someone put on there after, but it is the Town of Mount Pleasant Public Library, South Carolina 4436, so we'll see what that means in the context of the book. But also, like, that is super pretty in the book, and yeah, I'm excited to get into this. There's like this cute thing going on at the end here too. Again, Katie Coulson loves this book, so I better love it. But yeah, I've also heard there is like a rat scene or something in here to be aware of, so we'll see how that goes once I get there. Then I have another middle grade book. It is When You Reach Me by Rebecca Steed. And I just thought this looked really cute. For $1.59, I will buy any book that looks cute. And I think it is about, let's see, a 6th grader who lives in New York. And it says, I'm coming to save your friend's life and my own. I ask 2 favors. First, you must write me a letter. So I think this could be a cool book as a class read aloud or just to add to a class library. And we are at the final book, or I think chapter book, I should say. I might also throw in all of the picture books that I've picked up this month as well, but this book was definitely my favorite read. I think this is the only one that I've read so far that I bought this month, which gives you an insight into my reading and spending habit difference. But it is the Selection, and the Selection series actually, by Kiera Cass. And I would have never ever bought this book based on the cover. I am not like a princessy kind of girl in general, but I saw Haley Pham, I think, do a reading vlog where she read this and she really enjoyed it. And then I saw like a couple other TikToks about it and I was like, that's it, I'm looking for that book. And so I found it at the thrift store one day and I was like, all right, this is my shot. I'm gonna check it out. And the girl at the cash register, actually, she was like, oh, I heard this is really good. I was like, okay, me too, like I'm excited. And it was amazing. It is so cheesy though, and yeah, just very cheesy, very immature, but it is literally like The Bachelor mixed with a little bit of Hunger Games. And I read this so fast. I read this in like 2 days probably. Could have read it faster, but that was about as fast as I could go for the time being. So I read the selection. Then on audiobook I read the Elite, which is the next book. And then I also read the what is the third one called? It's either called The Crown or The One of those. But yeah, I read all 3 of those books probably within like a week, and this was the most fun I've ever had reading a book. So if you like The Bachelor and if you like maybe if you were into Hunger Games growing up, I definitely recommend checking out the series. Just don't take it too seriously and you'll have a great time with it. I'm definitely going to check out the 4th and 5th book very soon. I have them saved on my audiobook or like online library account, and I'm going to get into that ASAP. But I'm glad I have this one as a physical copy at least. And I think there are also like novels that follow along to the first to this book and maybe the second one, but from like different characters, I kind of think. So I think I have a lot more content to consume in regards to the series, and Kira Cass has a few other books as well that I could be persuaded into checking out. So yeah, this is my #1 recommendation from this video. If you have hated this book, yeah, sorry. I have trash taste then, I guess, but this was just a really fun book. This made me just enjoy reading more in general, and this is what kind of is bridging me into the fantasy world. I know people who like read high fantasy are just cringing thinking that this is fantasy, but yeah, this is like put my foot in the door for fantasy for sure. And I love this book. I am super excited to finish out the last 2 books of the series, and I think I'll be sad when I am done with it. That was all of the chapter books that I bought for my birthday month. I, again, am, talked about teaching a few times in this video, so I also look for kids books and good picture books for read alouds when I thrift shop. So I will quickly go through the ones that I picked up. If you are not interested in kids books at all, just feel free to leave the video now because the rest of the video is going to be about kids books. But this is the first one. Again, these were all thrifted, so they were around the $2 range. But it is Groggle's Monster Valentine. I'm trying to look for books for each kind of holiday. So this is a Valentine's themed book, obviously. And just the illustration style is so cute, and I love it. So I was excited to find this one. Next is a Lickle Miss Lou, which is about a Jamaican poet. So I thought this was great just in terms of diversity, but then a bit of history as well. So yeah, here's like a preview of what one of the pages looks like. So yeah, I was excited to find that one. Next is I Am Josephine by Jan Thornhill and Jackie Lee. Yeah, it's just about being a human being and other living species, kind of about like individuality, uniqueness. So I do try to look for books with like a positive theme, obviously, and I think this is a cute book. Next is How Full Is Your Bucket for kids. I was gifted How Full Is Your Bucket, the original one, I guess, by my first associate teacher, so I was excited to find this one. I kind of thought the first version was for kids, so I don't know how they made it more for kids. Maybe the first one is about like adult mental health and this one is more about like kid mental health maybe. But yeah, I was excited to find this one. Next is King and Family, which is a gay couple representation book, but I just love how fun and colorful the art style is, and yeah, I think this is a great book to find. There's another example of the art style, and I just thought it was a fun book. Next is ABC Baby Signs. This one's a bit more random, maybe more for like my personal collection once I have a baby, but I still think it could be cool to put in any level classroom and have any kid take a look at it if they want to, learn how to do a couple signs. And yeah, I was excited to find that book. Next, this one is just hilarious and sad at the same time. So it's based off the book Goodnight Moon, which is a super classic kids book. And this is maybe like the 21st century version of it, but it is called Goodnight iPad. And yeah, again, just equally hilarious and sad, and here they call it a parody for the next generation. Yeah, it's the same concept, but just saying goodnight to all this different technology. And this page always cracks me up. Goodnight MacBook Air. Again, this might be more of a personal collection book. I don't know if I would ever read this in a classroom setting, but it was just too funny to not pick up. This one I actually found at a little free library near me, and it is Forky in Craft Buddy Day. I love Forky. He is maybe my like #1 Disney character, and I'm not that much into Disney in general. I'm just Team Forky over here. But yeah, I thought it was a super cute book. It was free, so there's that. There's an example of what the illustrations look like. And it also did come with, I guess, Forky bookmarks, but the original owner, or the owner previous, has obviously taken those. But yeah, I just think this book is cute. I think all these books are going to be cute. I'm excited to have all these books, so you've probably heard me say that about every single book at this point. Next is Jumbo Means Hello, and it is a Swahili alphabet book by Muriel Feelings, pictured by Tom Feelings. So that is this book, and each page is a different letter of the alphabet, followed by a Swahili word, and it has the phonetic spellings, a little picture to go along with it. So again, just thought this was a great book to bring into any classrooms or any classroom and share with the kids. Next is I Like Myself by Karen Beaumont, illustrated by David Catro. And this was a super fun and colorful book just about self-love, self-acceptance. And let's see. Here's an example of the art style. So again, pretty fun and colorful. Next is my favorite author for kids books. It is Todd Parr. I always look for his books anytime I go to the thrift store, so I'm super excited whenever I find one, because I think this is my 3rd or 4th one that I found by him, and it is Otto Has a Birthday Party. So Otto, I think, is a recurring character in a lot of his books, but yeah, it's just about celebrating a birthday party. So yeah, all of his books are super positive. They have great themes, great meanings, and I love his illustration style as well. It is just super simple and bold and colorful, and I love it. So this book wasn't in like the best condition, but I just had to pick it up anyway because I can't resist a Todd Parr book. But yeah, you can see like there's some kind of circular stain on the front there, but yeah. And lastly, this one is, I would say, maybe like the most well-known one out of the kids books that I've shown, but it is Julian is a Mermaid by Jessica Love. And this is like vaguely introducing maybe the concept of gender expression, maybe a little bit of like gender fluidity, but yeah, it is about a boy who is with his grandma, and he sees these mermaids, and he tells his grandma like, oh, I want to be a mermaid. And the grandma gives him some jewelry, and yeah, and he is happy as a clam at the end. So it is a super cute book, introducing a great topic, and the illustrations are like kind of pastel watercolor, and they're just super stunning. So I was really excited to find this book, and just all of the books in general that I found. That was a pretty generous haul, and now the books are scattered everywhere in my room. Alright, so that concludes my book haul for my birthday month of April. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if any of these books are also on your TBR, or if you've read any of them, if you recommend any of them, or if you hate any of them and I should just sell them or donate them back right away without reading them. But let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to. I do plan on making a few more book videos in the future, but my content is mostly like teacher kind of focused. So if you're into that, also feel free to subscribe. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Also, the rest of my videos are going to be totally out of order because I think I'm going to try to upload this one right away. But my other videos are probably going to be from like the end of 2021. So yeah, I will go back to teacher content from last year and then, you know, upload whatever after this and whatever after those. But yeah, just in case you're confused about the timeline, this video is going to go up right away, I think, I hope, maybe, and then the rest are going to be some like backdated videos. But if any of my students are watching from my recent placement that I just finished, hello, this is your unofficial or official shout out for this video. I'm gonna miss you guys, and if you're watching this, hey. But yeah, that's the end of the video, so I'll catch you guys in the next one.